What shot do you give the Cowboys?
I give them a real shot because what they have is that they have the unknown at the quarterback position, Skip. Basically, you're going to have to go back and look at his college tape. But when you look at his college tape, you're going to say, okay, how are the Cowboys going to use him? Skip, when you had Andy Dalton, you had 9-10 years of footage of Andy Dalton. Andy Dalton is a pocket quarterback. What he's going to do, he's going to drop back. They're not going to move the pocket. He's not going to roll out. He's not looking to scramble. You got a guy, yeah, he's from James Madison, but you have no tape. He only threw, 3 passes last week against the Washington football team? So you really don't know. He's the unknown. So how exactly are they going to use him? Are they going to move the pocket? Are they going to allow him to run? How are they going to use him? Are they going to get a heavy dose of Zeke? Or I'm thinking they're going to give a heavy dose of Zeke, but you really don't know. And so that's the uncertainty of what the Eagles are going up against. Now, the Eagles on their side, Skip, they're going to do what they do. They get after the quarterback and they play the run on the way to the quarterback. And that's the weakness of the defense that Jim Schwartz runs, is that you can run on that defense, but you need to be ahead of the sticks and you don't need to fall behind, because when you fall behind, they pin their ears back with Fletcher Cox, Barnett, Brandon Graham. They come get after the quarterback. For me, when I look at this, Skip, this can come down to this. The Cowboys don't take the ball away. And so walking to them does not need to give them the football, because they ebb and flow. It's not like they got great receivers. They got guys that you don't really know. And so I don't really know what I'm going to get from game to game. But they've played well thus far. And if Wentz does not turn this football over, I like the Eagles' chance. I'm going to take, I believe it'll be close early, Skip. I'm going to take the Eagles finally winning this ball game 27-17. But it's really going to be predicated on, can walking to them take care of the football?
Timeout. Did I just hear you actually make some case? Because the first phrase you used was, I give the Cowboys a real shot with a 7th-round pick rookie named Benjamin Anthony DiNucci from James Madison. You're saying he's going to go into Wakatuum's house and possibly, because there's not enough tape on him, outplay the quarterback you say is by far the best in the NFC East, and actually give my team, my woeful Cowboys, who have been in no games after the first game of this year, except for the one Andy Dalton stole at the end of the Giants game. You're telling me that Ben DiNucci gives them a real shot at Philadelphia, when I did see Ben DiNucci come in for 12 snaps in place of Andy Dalton at Washington. And I saw him, I'll give you this, he completed 2 of 3 passes for 39 yards, but in 12 snaps, he got sacked 3 times and fumbled twice, and the Cowboys fortunately recovered both fumbles, or it would have been much worse than 25-3. My team scored 3 points against a woeful Washington football team. And you're making a case Ben DiNucci has got a quote-unquote real shot? Are you kidding me?
No, Skip. Actually, I'm not kidding you, because here's what happens, is that sometimes when you're down to your third quarterback, the opposing team underestimates you. And they're like, okay, we got this. There's no Dak. There's no Andy Dalton. And I remember a 6th-round guy that people underestimated, a guy by the name of Tom Brady. Now, I'm not saying bad. Skip, he goes by the acronym of BAD. Ben Anthony DiNucci.
He's a bad boy. I'm afraid he might just be really bad.
Well, I hope in this instance he is bad. But Skip, having been in situations like this before, I've seen it happen where you're underestimating the guy's ability, and they call the perfect game. He plays really well within himself. You've underestimated them, and before you realize that you're actually in a ball game, it's too late. He's playing with such confidence. The team is playing with such confidence. Now, if they get out there and play and they squash his confidence early, well, this game could be a runaway. But the longer they leave the Cowboys in this game, the more it works to their detriment.
Okay, so I'm going to give you a quick hark back for longtime Cowboy fans to something that would be, dare I say, eerily similar, Halloween similar. The only thing I can compare this to was a Thanksgiving game. I believe it was in 1975. and it was
Clint Longley?
Yep, Washington at Dallas, and big Thanksgiving Day, late day stage, and Clint Longley came in for the great Roger Staubach and threw a late touchdown pass to Drew Pearson to steal the game from the then Washington Redskins. And after the game, one of the great all-time quotes came from a great all-time offensive lineman for the Cowboys named Blaine Nye from Stanford University, who said about Longley, it was the triumph of an uncluttered mind. So you're saying that Ben DiNucci is going to have an uncluttered mind and just out of blissful ignorance could throw a party at Wakatuum's house?
Well, I don't know about a party, but Brian Billy used to say, Skip, you don't know what you don't know. He doesn't know he's not supposed to play well. He doesn't know that he's supposed to lose this ball game. He just happens to be, I'm the only guy that's available. I'm the next guy up. So I just need to go out here, do it. Because as you mentioned, you look at all the weapons around him. He still has Zeke in the backfield. He still has CeeDee Lamb, Amari Cooper, Michael Gallup. Although Michael Gallup did not play well last week, CeeDee Lamb did not get very many opportunities. No. He still has those weapons. The question is, Skip, can they give him enough time? Can they hold up long enough to give him more than 3 steps? Because a three-step drops are not going to cut it. You're going to have to be able to push the ball down the field.
Shannon, all I know about Ben DiNucci is that he started at Pitt. He's from the Pittsburgh area. And he flamed completely out at Pitt and had to transfer to James Madison. James Madison did give us one of the NFL greats, Charles Haley, who helped the Dallas Cowboys win 3 Super Bowls, obviously, and the 49ers, a few himself. But the point is that I'll give you this. Ben DiNucci last year in the Colonial Athletic Association was the MVP of that league, the player of the year for that league that year. Okay. And he made it all the way to the FCS championship game against Wakatuum's North Dakota State, now led by Trey Lance, who I think is going to be like a top 5 pick as a quarterback. Right. And North Dakota State did win that game. DiNucci played okay, so at least he's been in that big of a game. But Shannon, this is Fletcher Cox and Brandon Graham and Derek Barnett and Malik Jackson and Josh Sweat, and they come from everywhere in that wide 9. They are going to terrorize this poor kid. And he said that DiNucci said he ran into Dak yesterday at the Cowboy facility and that Dak's advice was just do you. Well, the Eagles are going to do him, too, because they're going to do him every way but loose. Go ahead.
Skip, what if he asks Dak, well, who am I?
Yeah,
you say do me. Who am I?
I agree. So, Shannon Sharpe, here's my problem. Yes. As a lifelong Cowboy fan, at least since I was 10 years of age, what evidence do I have that they have any shot in this game? Because the last time I watched Dallas at Philadelphia was late last year on December 22nd with my quarterback still at the helm. Dak Prescott played that game. He did have a bum shoulder, but he played. And what happened? The Eagles won 17-9. Dak Prescott managed 9 points at Philadelphia. So how can I think that Ben DiNucci is going to outscore Dak Prescott? Because you gave them, what, 17 points? So he's going to almost double what Dak got against Philadelphia? I can't even fathom that. I'm going to remind everybody, as painful as it is for me, this is by far the worst Cowboy defense ever. It's the worst in the league, giving up 35 points a game. The Cowboys are running away with turnover differential on the negative side at minus 13 because my Cowboys lead the league in giveaways and they lead the league in fewest takeaways. Help me out. Is that not a recipe for disaster?
It is.
And
that's
what,
why you.
Yeah. What did Jerry Jones just do? He just shipped out every veteran free agent that he signed in the offseason. All of them are gone. Gone. He made them all just walk the plank right out of Dallas. Now, was that a message sent to the locker room, a new get tough policy by the owner, Gerald Wayne Jones Jr.? I think not. He's trying to prop up the two mics, and I wish he would just drop the mic on both mics. Mike Nolan, the new DC, and Mike McCarthy, the new head coach. He's trying to prop them up because all those veteran free agents that I thought was going to make my defense pretty good this year were all in mutiny, all rebelling against Mike Nolan's new defensive system. So Jerry backed the new defensive coordinator, and I also think he's trying to back into Trevor Lawrence in the draft because I don't see how my Cowboys are going to win one more game. I don't think they can beat the Washington football team at home on Thanksgiving. I don't think they can beat Joe Burrow at Cincinnati, and those are the only two games left that I give them any shot in. Which brings me to Philadelphia. Philadelphia hates Dallas. And again, I have been impressed with how Philadelphia battled against Baltimore and battled to the wire against Pittsburgh and pulled out a game against the Giants that I thought they had no business winning because they will fight, they will scratch, they will claw. Walk it to him, as you call Carson Wentz. I mostly call him Wentz, as in W-I-N-C-E. He's been hit and miss, mostly miss. But when games are close late, he's come up big. He's come to play. He will hang tough. So this is going to be a game where I know they'll jump out to a lead because everybody Dallas has played this year has jumped out to a runaway lead. Every game, starting with the Rams. The Rams took the ball in the opener right down the field and scored, and it was 7-0. And that was the only game that Dallas stayed competitive in. You've seen them. It's a recurring nightmare. It's like Halloween, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Here we go. It's one game after another that just goes from bad to worse. And finally, they quit against Arizona, and then they flat didn't even show up and compete at Washington against what used to be their arch rival. Show me some evidence. That's why last night I just tweeted, because this is my deepest, darkest despair. I tweeted Philadelphia 40, Dallas 3. Well, that's my gut instinct right now that this is going to be another Sunday nightmare. Again, I'll try to hang in with my team, so I'll try to be realistic. I'm a realistic Cowboy fan. I'll give them 10 points. Maybe Ben DiNucci can somehow throw a late touchdown pass to get them to 10 after the game's completely out of hand. But how are they going to keep Philadelphia under what they give up, which is 35? I got Philly scoring 35 because I got to tell you, the best running back on the field will not be Ezekiel Elliott. It will be Boston Scott. Every time I watch Boston Scott, he just takes my TV screen over. He leaps off my screen. He should have been playing over Miles Sanders, who's obviously out injured right now. But every time Boston Scott gets a chance, especially on big national TV type games, he rises and shines and outshines everybody else on the field. And listen, against the Giants, I thought Richard Rodgers, their backup tight end, was pretty good, just the way he used to be for Aaron Rodgers up in Green Bay. And Travis Fulgham impresses me, and that rookie, John Hightower from Boise State, he caught a big ball late in that game. And I've always told you, Greg Ward Jr. can just flat out get open and play. Former college quarterback at Houston. He just knows how to play football. Arcega-Whiteside's still there. They have enough weapons. I just think they'll just run rampant on my defense because everybody else has. And if somebody can explain to me, Mr. Sharpe, what has happened to my man Jalen Smith? He runs around like a man possessed by demons, like he doesn't even know where he is. The play's going this way, and he's just running over here like he's possessed. I don't know. How can I defend anything I have on defense, and now all the veteran presence is gone? What's left? Where's my hope? Where's my evidence that you think this is going to be a competitive game?
Well, Skip, let me address your first thing first. When you said Jerry cut a lot of the big free agents that he signed in the offseason, I guess that was Jerry's way of saying I'm trimming the fat. So basically, I'm getting rid of all the excess. So now I'm down to lean meat. So now maybe we're going to be able to see the defense that I envision it being, Skip. But here's the thing. If you watch the Eagles, Skip, they start fast. You remember last week, go right down the field and score. If you remember, they jumped out 17-0 opening day on the Washington football team.
Did.
They start fast, and then they'll have this period of about 10 to 15 minutes. It could be a quarter, or it can start midway through a quarter and lapse into the another quarter, where they do absolutely nothing and give a team an opportunity to not only get back in the game, but take over the game. And that's what I'm afraid of, Skip. I'm afraid that they'll have one of these lulls again and allow the Cowboys to get confidence and either get back into the game or seize control of the ball game, because they still have those offensive weapons. The question is he going to be upright long enough to throw the ball or to get the ball to those guys? Defensively, Skip, I really don't have a whole lot of confidence in them. As long as Wentz, because, Skip, you know what he does now. As good as he is, as good as I believe he is and is going to get better, he will turn the ball over via interception, and when they hit him, the ball comes out. He will do that. Now, the question is, when he puts the ball in harm's way, can the Cowboys catch it?
Shannon, we have 2 takeaways the whole year. What do you mean? Unless walk it to him means he's going to walk it to Xavier Woods and hand it to him, because that's the only way Xavier Woods or anybody else in the secondary is going to intercept one.
Well, you remember last year, Skip, on the Sunday night game, what happened is that the turnover happened early. D-Law came in there, got a strip, and Jalen Smith jumped on the football, and it really changed the complexion of the ball game. And then I think the next time, Goddard. They hit Goddard, and Goddard fumbled.
He did.
And next thing you know, it was 14-0, and the Cowboys never looked back, and the Eagles never looked up. And so that's what the Cowboys have to hope for. They have to hope that they can take the ball away and keep this game, stay in the game early. Because what we've seen, Skip, through the first 8 weeks, as you mentioned, they've fallen so far behind. They've been behind by at least 14 in 6 straight games. That is a recipe for disaster.
I'd say.
If they can just keep it close. Because it's been a while, Skip, since they've been nip and tuck in a ball game late in the fourth quarter, where they've had the lead, a team has to catch them. Normally, they're trying to make up 16, 20 points in the fourth quarter to get back into a ball game.
So, Shannon, my only tiny ray of hope, I think Zach Martin, my all-pro guard, I think he's going to play, but I don't know that for sure. He's been in concussion protocol, but he did practice. So I'm going to guess he's going to play. But you brought it up yesterday. I got 2 lousy tackles. My bookend tackles. One's an undrafted free agent rookie from Texas Tech, and the other one, once upon a time, was a first-round pick, who's Cam Irving, who's really struggling now, got cut by Kansas City. He did start 8 games for them last year, but he wasn't very good Sunday against the Washington football team. Well, how about this pass rush? One thing Philly is stout in, that front 7 will come after you.
Yep.
Jim Schwartz will have them split out in that wide 9, and here they will come.
Yes.
And they are going to wreak hell on poor little Ben DiNucci. He's not that big. He's like 6'2", 200. So it's not like he's a 6'4", 230, prototype quarterback. So, Shannon, so this is the first time in the history of the show that my emotions have completely swung. So I'm not sure exactly where the spread is going to land. It's been as high as 9.5. I think right now it's in the 8 range on Fox Bet. But how about I'll take Philadelphia and I will give you the points. Will you do that?
No, I don't.
Why not? I will root against my team. I'll take the Eagles.
You will not
cover.
root. I promise you, Skip. You will not root against your team like I'm rooting against your team.
It's now 9 points, I'm told. It's been going crazy. It's been all over the map.
It's all over the place.
Yesterday it was 9.5.
Well, what should concern you, Skip? And I know we're not talking about it, but did you see the game last night? Did you see when they cheap shotted Teddy Bridgewater? Did you see how his offensive line reacted as opposed to the Dallas Cowboys?
Everybody keeps bringing it up, and I keep saying, what are you talking about? My team quit. It quit on Monday night against Arizona, and it didn't even show up at Washington. And the offensive line, you say, where were they? Well, who are they? There's one holdover from last year, Connor Williams, the left guard, who was the weakest link on what used to be a pretty good line. Well, they're all new. They're all young. There were 3 rookies in the starting lineup at Washington. What are they going to do? We want to fight Bostic? They don't even know where they are.
But here's the thing, though, Skip. You might say they quit on their coach, but we can't quit on each other.
Okay.
That's the thing. It's just a matter of, Skip, it's just optics. Yeah, Skip, but you know you're not finna go slug no blows or anything, and they didn't throw blows last night. But you have to attack to let you know this is not tolerated.
Okay, but this is unprecedented. In my life, I've never seen anything this bad. A team I thought could win 10 games is bordering on the worst team in pro football. And it definitely is on pace to have the worst defense since 1961 in pro football. That's impossibly wrong and bad. So, again, I hope you're right. I hope they hang in there, give me a little bit of fun. But I hope they actually take a lead. That would be a novel concept. I can't see it. So, again, I'll take Philadelphia, but you got to, and I'll give you the points, but you got to bet me one case of do. I'll do a reverse bet.
No.
You won't even do that?
I don't want to give you any ray of hope that you like, okay, I got 9 points to give you some resemblance of a win. Because if the Eagles win and I've given you 9 points and they win by less than 9, you can say you won. No, I want you to feel pain. I don't want you to win I don't want you to win any more games. If the Cowboys if they don't win another game, I will be one of the happiest men on earth.
Okay, so you're calling it a 10-point game, but you give the Cowboys, your opening statement was, a real shot.
Yes.
That doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, Skip, here's the thing. What concerns me is that they're down to their third quarterback, and it's just not, Skip, you're like, okay, we got this. Man, that guy can't beat us. And the next thing you know, Ben DiNucci is playing. He might have the game of his life. I just don't need it to be this week.
Okay, he will not have the game of his life because he's never had the game of his life. I'm sorry, it's not going to happen. If you told me that Andy Dalton is going to play Sunday night, which is still a possibility, they haven't ruled him out yet. He's got to pass all the concussion protocols, and I'm doubtful of it. But if you told me he was going to play, okay, maybe I give him a shot because he's played a lot of big games. He's been a very successful starter, as we know. He averaged 10 wins a year his first 5 years. He's 3-time Pro Bowler. I could feel like he might be able to stand up to the rush, make a few plays, keep him in the game. But not poor little Ben DiNucci. Stop it.
Here's the thing, though, Skip. You never know. They might be actually practicing as if Andy Dalton's going to play. Because, like you said, he hasn't been officially ruled out. So they might be preparing. We're preparing as if Andy Dalton's going to play, not knowing where the bad is going to get. I keep calling the man bad. Ben DiNucci is going to actually get into the game. So, Skip, it's the unknown. Who are we actually preparing for? And how are the Cowboys, how are they going to actually call the game if Ben DiNucci is the starting quarterback?
I know, but it's not like Andy Dalton is Lamar Jackson and you have to prepare for his legs. I don't know. Aren't they kind of 6 of one, half dozen of the other as far as preparation?
Thank you for watching. You can subscribe here to get the latest from the show, and be sure to check out more of the best clips from Undisputed, or go watch a few other segments from our other shows on FS1.